thoughts on the new Star Wars trilogy announced from Simon Kinberg. So this was announced just a few days ago, and essentially Simon was one of the main producers and frequently one of the main writers for the Fox X-Men universe. Going back pretty much he was there for around the whole thing. So the best of the X-Men movies, you will find his name in it. The worst of the X-Men movies, you will find his name in it. And he has a number of other credits, and he worked on Fan4stick. So Disney announced that he's in the works to do a new trilogy. A lot of speculation that this is episodes 10, 11, 12. So they're bringing in the guy that did the X-Men universe to do this. There's a lot of different feelings I have about this. Number one, at this point in time, I don't believe any Star Wars announcements. They just have for movies, they have such a track record of announcing high-profile names to be working on a Star Wars movie or even a trilogy, and then it never happens. Josh Trank, Lord and Miller, Rian Johnson trilogy, Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi, Sean Levy, Kevin Feige. And then it was really revealed afterwards, Guillermo del Toro was working on the Jabba the Hutt movie. And I'm missing a bunch of other ones that have been announced that aren't coming out. And even this Rey movie, it sounds like it's having a bunch of trouble. So as of right now, it has been 5 years since the last movie. We're several years off from getting another movie. And there's so many things that they've announced that haven't happened that I do not have faith that they will come out. So right there, that's my main reaction to it. I just don't believe it. So I don't have a big emotional investment in it. From there, if I were to dive in, what do I think about Simon taking over for doing this new trilogy of films? Am I excited for that? He's a real mixed bag. Now, as soon as this was announced, Twitter went nuts like, writer-director of Dark Phoenix doing Star Wars? He sucks. Get anybody else. I'd be excited for anyone but this guy. He's the worst. They start screaming about Dark Phoenix, start screaming about he worked on Fan4stick, and they forget he also wrote Days of Future Past. So they forget he is heavily involved with making sure that Deadpool happened. He was involved with all the ones you love. He just also worked on all the ones that were really bad. And it's tough to even know, Dark Phoenix was a train wreck. Why on earth would you want him to take over? Well, you can read up on the backstory of Dark Phoenix. It's tough to know how much of it was his fault, how much of it was he had a bad day at the office, and how much of it was he was put in a terrible situation, which is to say, he set out to make a 2-movie Dark Phoenix film. Oh, he's openly said this, and then Fox was like, no, it's going to be 1 movie. And then he started writing that, and then they went, there's actually some similarities to this other thing, change it a little bit. And then they shot the movie, and they went, you got to change it again because of Captain Marvel. And then they went, you got to change this. And in parallel to all of this, Fox was being acquired by Disney, and so the attitude at Fox was like, none of this matters. This is not a priority for anyone. We're like the leftover stuff. And so it was just a really bad situation all around from beginning to end. So how much can you blame him? He is the writer and he is the director. That's on him. He did a bad job with the hand that he was dealt. But he was dealt a bad hand. Some people are dealt a good hand and some people are dealt a bad hand. And he did some movies where he was dealt a good hand and you got a great movie out of it. And he was dealt a bad hand and he made some bad movies a few times. And he was like, he was one of the writers on Fan4stick. That was like Josh Trank was a dumpster fire. Fox was a dumpster fire. And they were like, can you put out the fire? And he wasn't able to. That's what his name attached to that is. He wasn't the one that messed that up. He was the one that maybe made it a little bit more watchable or maybe finished it. But so all that said, I'm not negative on the guy, but if you're trying to get me excited about the future of Star Wars, I don't want you to recruit someone with such an uneven track record where maybe you get the Days of Future Past of Star Wars, or maybe you get the Dark Phoenix of Star Wars. You could get either one, and you don't really know. I would guess it would probably turn out better because it seems like when he has a smooth production, the stuff he works on is pretty good. When he has a troubled production, his stuff is really bad. But then again, it's not as if Lucasfilm hasn't had their troubled productions. So I don't, I think it's I don't care because I don't think it's going to happen. It's a really odd choice since they desperately need to get excitement. They desperately need to win people back over. And to do that, you need someone that has more borrowed trust, not borrowed skepticism. That so many people see his name and they think Dark Phoenix. You want someone that when you think of them, you think of the best of their work, not the worst of their work. So I think there's a number of concerns there when it comes to him.
Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.